As an Amazon associate, we earn from qualifying purchases. This podcast is supported by its listeners. If you choose to purchase something using links on our website, we may earn a commission. No books were warped, dog-eared, underlined with purple pen, eaten, cursed, cancelled, burned, or otherwise harmed in the making of this podcast. I'm Tom Tolkien, and this is the School Reading List, a podcast that recommends books you'll want your children to read and books you'll wish you'd read as a child. To kick off episode 28 of the School Reading List podcast, let's rip open some book post. And first up, Diary of a Future Billionaire by Pamela Butchart, illustrated by Wotto. 10-year-old Max has his sights set on becoming the world's youngest billionaire, and he's got a plan. Told through Max's hilarious diary entries, this fun-filled middle-grade tale follows his wild attempts to make this dream come true. Written by best-selling author Pamela Butchart, it's an entertaining mix of humour, positivity and big dreams, perfect for young readers who love a good laugh, imagination and a dash of ambition. Key Stage 2 readers will love it. Surviving Vesuvius by Christopher Harrisson, illustrated by Beth Waters. Surviving Vesuvius brings the eruption of Mount Vesuvius to life through the eyes of Pliny the Younger. Inspired by his real letters, it offers a compelling glimpse into daily life in Pompeii before everything turned to ash. Featuring historical figures like Julia Felix and Julius Polybius, this book blends history, science and geography with vivid illustrations, a timeline and a glossary. It's perfect for 7 to 11-year-olds. Highly recommended. Paloma Flies Away by María J. Guarda. This powerful and moving picture book follows a young girl and her parents as they escape a country under dictatorship, leaving everything behind. As they build a new life, Paloma's memories of home start to blur, though her parents never stop longing for what they lost. When they finally return, she faces the challenge of rediscovering a place that no longer feels familiar. A poignant, beautifully illustrated story about migration, belonging and what it really means to call somewhere home, Paloma Flies Away is highly recommended for primary school libraries. Be the Change by Robin Greenfield and Antonia Banyard. Be the Change inspires kids to live more sustainably, with practical tips on waste, food systems and water conservation. Written by activist Robin Greenfield, it mixes personal stories with examples of extreme actions he's taken, encouraging young readers to make meaningful changes in their lives. With vibrant visuals and motivating steps, this book helps kids see how small actions can lead to a greener world. It's all about empowering the next generation to become eco-conscious changemakers. Speedwheels 3000, The Race Against Crime by Jenny Pearson, illustrated by Katie Kear and Nick East. Evie Clutterbuck sneaks into her dad's car to join the wildest race across Europe. But chaos erupts when they're accused of swiping £4 million in gold. From hair-raising cliffside moments to cracking a daring heist, Evie and her dad face non-stop challenges while rediscovering their bond. With illustrations by Katie Kear and Nick East, this hilarious and heartfelt adventure is packed with twists, turns and plenty of laughs. It's perfect for readers in years 4 to 6. I Really, Really Love My Noisy Bum by Karl Newson and Duncan Beedie. Bush Baby is on a mission to track down the source of strange sounds in the jungle, but every suspect turns out to be a red herring. The fourth book in Karl Newson and Duncan Beedie's Bush Baby Adventure series, this lively rhyming tale is packed with humour, bold illustrations and a surprise ending. Perfect for little ones who love interactive stories, bum jokes and a bit of mystery. It's a fun, noisy adventure that keeps young readers guessing. Ooh. School for Fireflies by Erica Gomez. Best friends Siddy and Zadie are starting their first year at a school for magic. Exciting enough on its own, but when they stumble across a decades-old mystery and a missing diary, their curiosity gets the better of them. As they dig deeper, they realise the clues might lead to the truth about Siddy's father's disappearance. Erica Gomez's debut blends magic, mystery and friendship into a spellbinding adventure, perfect for young detectives with a knack for uncovering secrets. Let's Play Rugby by Gordon Darcy and Paul Howard. Gordon Darcy and Paul Howard bring rugby to life in this interactive picture book with vibrant illustrations by Ashwin Shako. Instead of just reading, kids jump into the action, passing, scrummaging and scoring as they follow the story. It's a fun way to pick up the basics of the game while staying active. Released alongside the Six Nations Championship, this book is perfect for little rugby fans. This book is perfect for little rugby fans and their energetic families keen to get stuck in. The Notwitches by Gary Panton, illustrated by Dotty Sutton. Melinda Notwitch has had enough of her awful aunts. When she meets Mitch, a young witch with a plan, they set off on a quest for a rare spell ingredient, one that might just turn her luck around. But of course, nothing's ever that simple. With villains, surprises and an almost talking cat in the mix, adventure and chaos is guaranteed. Gary Panton's fiction debut, brought to life with Dotty Sutton's illustrations, kicks off a magically funny new series for readers aged 7 to 11. Shiver Point, Beneath the Ghostly Graves by Gabriel Dillon. Mo's life in Shiver Point is never boring, especially with creepy legends like Blue Bessie, the ghost of Shadow Hill Cemetery, hanging around. In a bid to prove himself, Mo accidentally wakes Bessie, and she promptly kidnaps his brother. Now Mo and his friends have to play her dangerous game to save him. The fourth book in the Shiver Point series, this spooky tale will thrill fans of Goosebump and Dreadwood, and it's perfect for readers aged 9 to 12. Detective Stanley and the Mystery at the Museum by Hannah Tunnicliffe and Erica Harrisson. When chaos erupts during the Bleat Mondrian exhibit, retired Detective Stanley is dragged back into action. Nothing's stolen, but something doesn't add up, and Stanley soon finds himself in deeper water than expected. This quirky graphic novel follows the dogged sleuth through a mystery packed with humour, art references and a touch of chaos. With nods to Piet Mondrian, it's a clever, fun introduction to art and an imaginative start to a series for 5+-year-olds. Red Flags by Sophie Jo. Poppy and Cam are two teens who aren't exactly sold on commitment. They reluctantly agree to a dating challenge. Poppy won't obsess over flaws, while Cam promises to stick with his next relationship. No ick allowed. As they navigate dating, they try to figure out what's a real red flag and what's just a minor annoyance. A funny, sharp, young adult read, Red Flags is perfect for fans of Holly Bourne and Jenny Han. We think it'll be a big hit with 12+-year-old readers this year. Monday's a Murder by Ravina Giron. When 17-year-old Kay returns to her hometown after her friend's death, She discovers a letter foretelling violent events leading to her own murder on Monday. Faced with escalating threats, Kay must uncover the sender's identity before time runs out. Combining suspense, mystery, and epic twists, this riveting page-turner explores themes of danger and trust. It's bound to be a hit with 13-plus-year-olds. Thank you to all the publishers and publicists for sending us books to review here on this podcast and on our website schoolreadinglist.co.uk. Here's our rundown of great new children's books hitting the shelves this March. The Magnificent Book of Trees by Tony Russell. Mr. Norton's New Hat by Hugh Lewis-Jones and Corey Egbert. Bookshop Dog by Harriet Evans. Mary Fowler Football Legends by Kit Cross. Nora's Crescent Moon by Zainab Khan. Wolf in the City by Rachel Tilda Wolfe. Nightweaver by R.M. Gray. Songs: The Ghosts by Clara Kunagai. The Deadly Fates by Donielle Clayton. Meet the Mubbles by Liz Pitchen. Banyard and the Wild Hunt by Sangu Mandana. Wild Magic by Abiola Bello. Dad Bot by Jack Noel. Stealing Happy by Brian Connigan. When the Bones Sing by Ginny Myers Sane. A Home is a Nest by Emma Carlisle. While We're Young by K.L. Walther. The Greatest Stuff on Earth by Steve Tomachek. The Apple Tree Animal Agency by Katja Balin. Please Don't Read the Footnotes, Please by Rob Walton. After by Padraig Kenny. Paloma and the Bear by Jasbinder Bilan. See Inside AI by Alex Frith and Victoria Williams. Encyclopedia of Birds by Jules Howard. Away by Megan E. Freeman. Keep Smashing It by Jodie Ansley. Bronte Tempestra and the Weather Witch by Bex Hogan. Hidden Treasure by Jessie Burton. The Beck by Anthony McGowan. Big School Scaredy Cat by Lisa Williamson. Serial Chillers The Witch in the Woods by Jennifer Killick. And our picture book of the month is Mr. Norton's New Hat by Hugh Lewis-Jones and Corey Egbert. Our non-fiction book of the month is Into the Ice by Alison Lester and Coral Tulloch. And our fiction book of the month is Please Don't Read the Footnotes, Please by Rob Walton. Bookity book, let's get reading. If you're a teacher, librarian, or avid bookworm who loves children's or YA books, and you'd like to review brand new titles for the school reading list, get in touch by email. We'd love to hear from you. The address is reviews@schoolreadinglist.co.uk. And this month's highlighted book list is our Books for Year 1 reading list. And here are some of the newest titles. The Search for the Giant Arctic Jellyfish by Chloe Savage. Dr. Morley sets out with all the proper equipment, all the right people, and years of careful planning to find a bizarre monster that no one has ever seen before. Will she be the first to see the enigmatic jellyfish? This is a great story of adventure, perseverance, and resilience that will encourage children to never give up. Gina Kaminsky Rescues the Giant by Craig Barr Green, illustrated by Francis Martin. Confident, autistic protagonist Gina Kaminsky comes up with a plan that involves no magic beans but plenty of cake, correcting the original plot in this distinctive modern version of the Jack and the Beanstalk story. This book will empower children to take control of their own narratives and appeal to fans of fractured fairy tales and character-driven stories. Highly recommended, and it's great to read with children in Year 1. Teddy's Midnight Adventure by Yoko Mori. Teddy has lost his button eye, so he and Akiko walk through an evocatively illustrated moonlit world to try and find it. Everything seems different and mysterious at night, but by the time the sun comes up, there's a happy ending. A mesmerizing, unforgettable, and magical story of friendship. Chocolate Cake by Michael Rosen, illustrated by Kevin Waldron. When a young boy sneaks downstairs at night, his plan to just look at the chocolate cake turns into a full-blown midnight feast. The laugh-out-loud poetic narrative captures his attempts to clean up the mess. But not everything goes as planned. Waldron's illustrations, with lively text layouts and speech bubbles, ramp up Rosen's sense of fun. It's a surefire winner for reading to Year 1 classes. The Smile Shop by Satoshi Kitamura. When a young boy goes shopping for the first time, just before he decides to buy something, he loses his pocket money. Disaster. But then he discovers a smile shop and wanders in. A refreshing modern fable with strong visual elements, this is an ideal book for sharing, reading aloud, and eliciting discussion with children. Outside In by Deborah Underwood and Cindy Darby. This impressive picture book explores nature inside our homes by showing how sunlight and organic materials enrich our everyday experience. Poetic text and evocative watercolour illustrations capture how nature gently weaves itself into indoor life, and young readers can reflect on what they see inside and outside. Outside In is a beautiful book to read and share with children in Key Stage 1. Hole in the Zoo by Chloe and Mick Inkpen. There's a hole in the wall at the local zoo, and all the animals have started coming through in this madcap and addictive rhyming story that children will want to read over and over again. A laugh-out-loud read for children in Year 1, Hole in the Zoo is a good choice for paired reading with older siblings. Mrs. Noah's Pockets by Jackie Morris and James Mayhew. Mrs. Noah's Pockets reimagines the Noah's Ark story as seen through the eyes of Mrs. Noah. While Mr. Noah lists animals to save and those to exclude, Mrs. Noah sews a coat with deep pockets to secretly preserve all creatures, even the troublemakers. Vibrant mixed media art and lyrical prose highlight themes of inclusion, diversity, and kindness to deliver an incredible picture book. Highly recommended. Here's a selection of exciting new book tasters sent to us by new and self-published children's authors this month.
Oakley the Superhero tells the story of Oakley, a young boy with sensory sensitivities, and his friend Minnie, who goes out of her way to include him in a game with other children. The book is designed to help children understand and embrace differences among peers. The book skillfully weaves a tale of friendship and compassion, encouraging children to be considerate of others' feelings and needs. In Oakley the Superhero, the characters navigate their differences with grace and empathy. Minnie's thoughtful planning allows Oakley to participate fully and comfortably in the group's activities by including fun facts about lizards as part of their game. The book also incorporates educational content in an engaging way. Oakley the Superhero is available now on Amazon. It is aimed at 3 to 8-year-olds and is written by Roxanne Constantine.
Hi there. I want to tell you about a series of picture storybooks I have written aimed at 3 to 7-year-old children. The books are essentially stories about our natural world and its history. Each book focuses on a different place, region, or season. For example, The Adventure by the River and The Adventure at Sutton Hoo. The stories are told through two main characters, a young girl called Tilly and her pet dog, Harry. My aim is to help children develop a love for the outdoors, for nature, and for the natural world around them. I have 2 young children myself, and I've found the best experiences and memories that we have is when we spend time outdoors, being part of nature together. I hope these books can bring some of that fun to story time and get children enthusiastic and curious about the natural world. The books are called The Tilly and Harry Adventures by Ashton Moon, and you can find them on Amazon.
A few years ago, I was lucky to land a job at a great company in Long Island whose offices were adjacent to the last piece of the Long Island Plains, cherished stomping grounds of Walt Whitman, and also just a mile away from Eisenhower Park, which became my lunchtime stomping grounds. That May in 2017, I went to the park and walked around the pond, and in the shadow of a floating flag platform, I noticed a tiny baby duckling. There were no other ducks or geese around, which was unusual, so I knew this little guy was an orphan. Through that spring and summer, I would visit the ducky and bring him rolled oats to eat. Eventually, a shy goose appeared and approached, hoping for a snack. The goose had a condition, angel wings, which deformed some of her feathers and made it impossible for her to fly. She couldn't fly away from cruel bullies. I didn't know that when I shooed her away from Ducky's special snack, and she slipped and fell into the pond, hitting her belly on the cement border. I felt awful, so I started bringing oat snacks for both of them, Danny and Gilly. By fall, the ducky and the goose were friendly enough with each other to share snacks, which was highly unusual for normally contentious water birds. I began making notes on my visits, wanting to remember the unique experiences. A few years later, the diary notes evolved into a story, and on November 30, 2023, the story was published as a children's book, Danny the Ducky and Gilly the Goose. Now, a year later, the book stands as an award winner, Young Reader category in the Purple Dragonfly Book Contest, after hitting number 1 last December in Amazon's new release in children's duck books. And it's being animated by a team of NYU Film School recent grads. Now I will give you a peek. I will read one scene from the book, a scene that spotlights friends standing up to bullies. To set the table, so to speak, the orphan duck Danny becomes friends with the outcast goose Gilly and a kind tomboy, the girl. Gilly has been the target of a mean goose named Dina, and Danny encourages his friend to enter a race and compete against her nemesis. Race day. The bright yellow sun came up. He was in an especially good mood, looking down at the reflection of the sky in the lake, with a few fluffy white clouds around, and lots of big geese and little geese swimming about, excited about the race. Danny found Gilly on the main path. He wanted to give her something before she swam. "Gilly, here, take this." He gave her a pretty blue pebble. "It will help you swim faster than anyone else." "Oh, thank you, Danny." Gilly took the pebble and tucked it in her feathers, and with her heart pounding, she headed towards the pond and the starting line. The girl got to the same pathway in time to overhear Dina Rich and Marky. Dina hissed, "Let's catch up to Gilly and push her down again. It'll be funny, and then she won't be able to swim." Marky bobbed his head up and down, and he and Dina started going after Gilly. The girl raced down the path and jumped in front of them, arms akimbo and eyes ablaze. The two geese stopped, surprised. In a fierce, angry voice, she exploded, "Don't you dare hurt Gilly. She's the sweetest bird I know. I heard you back there. You two should be ashamed of yourselves. Marky, I know you were friends with Gilly once. How could you think of doing something so mean?" Dina didn't care. She was a selfish goose. But Marky felt a little bad, and he looked at his feet. He was ashamed, knowing it was the second time he didn't have the guts to be a real friend. At the starting line, Gilly was nervous, but then she felt the pebble under her wing, and she saw Danny and the girl at the water's edge, and she calmed down. There were two geese on either side of her. Dina was on the far right. The race official raised his wing and brought it down, and they were off. The other geese jumped forward right away, but Gilly was a little slow starting. She panicked. She got scared, thinking she couldn't do it. Then she remembered the gift Danny gave her. She put her head down and started churning the water with her big feet, and soon she pulled into the lead. Once Gilly got going, the other geese didn't have a chance. Gilly crossed the finish line way ahead of the others. Dina didn't even bother to finish the race. She sulked off, ready to tell more bad stories about Gilly to anyone who would listen. Gilly was the champion of the pond. When she climbed out of the water, a whole bunch of geese rushed forward to congratulate her, but she pushed past them. She wanted to find her true friends, Danny the ducky and the girl, who believed in her from the beginning and who never cared how crazy her feathers looked. They saw her and ran over to hug her. "Danny, you were right. The pebble made me swim the fastest of them all." She reached for where she had tucked the pebble in her feathers, and it wasn't there. It had fallen out when she started the race. She looked at Danny, surprised. He smiled. "Gilly, you never needed the pebble. You are fast and strong enough without it. You are a true winner."
Hi, I'm Melissa Abraham, the author of Are We There Yet? A picture book aimed at children aged 3 to 7 years, beautifully illustrated by Simone Douglas. Join Sarita as she embarks on an enchanting journey, crafting fantastical answers to her endless questions. My story features a playful conversation between a patient mum and her curious young daughter. The book is available from Amazon and Waterstones Online.
If you'd like to get in touch and leave a recorded shout-out about your upcoming self-published children's book, have a look at our podcast webpage for more details. Is it time to rethink dressing up for World Book Day? Here are some thoughts on the pressures of World Book Day costumes and some alternatives. World Book Day dates back to 1995 and started in 1997 in the UK as a celebration of reading, offering free book tokens to children. But over time, it's become a mixed blessing for many families. While the idea of dressing up as a favourite book character seems fun, the reality is more complicated. With 31% of UK children living below the poverty line and 40% of primary schools lacking library funding, costume expectations can feel like yet another financial hurdle. Some schools have responded with budget-friendly alternatives. Think pyjama days or repurposing uniforms, making participation easier for everyone. Still, the struggle between keeping tradition alive and ensuring inclusivity continues. For many parents, the cost of a World Book Day outfit isn't trivial. A pre-made Hermione Granger cloak might set you back £20, while a DIY version, a school uniform plus a second-hand wand, costs far less. But even small expenses add up, especially for families relying on free school meals. Social media doesn't help either. Instagram is flooded with elaborate shop-bought costumes, making those without the means feel left out. Teachers see the divide firsthand, as some kids turn up in detailed outfits, while others make do with what they have. At one primary school, the head teacher noted that requiring costumes only added to pupils' anxiety and parental stress. And let's be honest, World Book Day has become just as much about frantic last-minute Amazon orders as it has about books. To bring the focus back to reading, some schools have ditched the costume requirements in favour of more inclusive activities. A roll-on-the-wall project lets children draw and design characters on paper instead of dressing up. Other schools run bedtime story theme days, where kids wear pyjamas, reinforcing the cosy personal connection to books without added expense. The World Book Day charity is backing these shifts, offering printable templates for accessories like Supertato masks and Dogman ears. Schools are also getting creative with ideas like costume swap rails, where families donate old costumes for others to use, cardboard workshops, quick sessions where kids craft props from recyclables, and book-themed potato decorating, a fun low-cost way to bring stories to life. A National Literary Trust study in 2024 found that kids engaged more deeply with reading when activities focused on creativity rather than appearance, and schools that moved away from costumes saw library visits rise. Some primaries reported a 40% increase after introducing pyjama-themed participation. Should costumes be scrapped entirely? Not everyone wants to abandon costumes. Some educators argue that dressing up helps reluctant readers engage with stories, especially those who learn best through hands-on activities. To make World Book Day work for everyone, bigger changes are needed. Some ideas might include government-funded costume libraries where families can borrow outfits, incorporating costume making into the curriculum using art lessons to develop props, expanding book token schemes to cover costume materials for low-income families, and teacher training on low-cost literacy activities that prioritise engagement over expense. The Department for Education's 2025 literacy strategy is even considering linking funding to schools that actively reduce financial pressures on families, a potential game changer for equality. World Book Day has the potential to be a joyful celebration of reading, but only if it's accessible to all. Enthusiasm for books doesn't have to rely on shop-bought costumes. It's about making stories feel personal and exciting. As budgets tighten, schools and policymakers need to rethink how the day is celebrated. Otherwise, what was meant to be an inclusive event could become yet another marker of inequality. Have a look at our World Book Day Costume Ideas page for more information. If dressing up for World Book Day isn't your thing, don't worry, there are plenty of other ways to celebrate. Here are some fresh ideas to get students excited about books without needing a costume. Map the story. Turn book settings into visual journeys by having students create illustrated or 3D maps of fictional worlds. They can mark key locations, jot down character actions, and add their favourite quotes. Imagine a detailed map of the BFG's giant country, complete with labelled dream jar caves and a path leading to Sophie's hiding spot. To make it interactive, classmates can navigate each other's maps by solving book-related riddles. Group story remixes. Encourage creative collaborations by having students reimagine classic tales. Give them a story seed, like the wardrobe from Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe, and challenge them to twist the genre. What if the wardrobe led to a futuristic space colony instead of Narnia? They can sketch scenes, write mini-chapters, or record their stories as podcasts. It's a great way to show how stories evolve through different perspectives. Book-themed treasure hunts. Instead of traditional scavenger hunts, make reading part of the adventure. Hide clues in books that require children to find synonyms for tricky words. For example, what's a word for huge in Chapter 3? Connect themes between different books. Or decode character motivations from dialogue. Escape the book. Bring the thrill of escape rooms to the classroom with book-related challenges. Students can crack secret codes using Harry Potter or Tolkien-inspired runes. Arrange the Gruffalo scenes in the right order to unlock the next clue, or solve logic puzzles based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory's Golden Ticket Hunt. It's an exciting way to mix problem solving with reading comprehension, and the best part, the materials can be reused next year. DIY mini books. Let students become authors with their own small-scale printing projects. They can create haiku books inspired by nature scenes from books like The Lost Words, graphic novellas that visually retell favourite book moments, or choose your own adventure tales where the reader votes on what happens next. Host a publishing party where kids exchange their books using homemade library cards. It's a great way to build confidence with storytelling skills. And book trailers. Combine digital creativity with book enthusiasm by having students make 60-second trailers for their favourite reads. Use simple apps like Canva or iMovie, and they can highlight dramatic moments, add suspenseful text overlays, and choose music that fits the book's mood. You can play the trailers at school assemblies to spark interest in new books. Think about making reading a social experience. Reading cafes, for example. Transform the classroom into a cosy reading cafe. Set up tables with themed menus of books. Let students chat about what they're reading. A few fun ideas. Book baristas. Teachers or parent volunteers can give recommendations. Tablecloth predictions. Children can write guesses about upcoming plot twists. Themed days. Mystery Mocha Monday or Fantasy Froth Friday to keep days exciting. There's no need for fancy supplies, just a few mugs, printable decorations, and a good selection of books. Reading buddies. Pair up older and younger students for shared reading time. Buddies can take turns reading aloud, discuss character choices, and design bookmarks based on their favourite scenes. It's a simple but powerful way to encourage fluency, confidence, and a sense of mentorship. Deep dive book discussions. Instead of dressing up as book characters, students can become them in a mock interview or hot seating. Imagine Matilda explaining how she stayed hopeful despite her family's attitude, or Paddington Bear sharing his funniest culture shock moments. Classmates can ask questions and consider creativity and accuracy, with prizes for the best performances. Genre exploration zones in your classroom. Set up interactive stations that showcase particular genres. You might have a mystery corner with UV flashlights to reveal hidden messages in detective book excerpts, a poetry nook with magnetic words that can be turned into new verses based on revolting rhymes. Non-fiction hubs. Set up a mini archaeology dig with fun facts about dinosaurs from non-fiction books. These ideas let children explore books beyond their usual picks while making everything exciting and hands-on. Encourage peer book recommendations. Think about book poster swaps. Let students design persuasive posters recommending their favourite reads. These can include star ratings with emoji scales, Netflix-type displays, thematic hashtags, and, if you like this, try this suggestions. These can be displayed in the library or around school to inspire reading outside the classroom. Set up Rate My Read boards, where children can post mini reviews with sticky notes, draw smiley faces to agree or disagree with classmates' texts, and link pictures of related books using string or threads, such as Diary of a Wimpy Kid linked directly to Tom Gates. This creates a living, student-driven recommendation wall that can evolve over time. Shifting World Book Day from a costume event to a celebration of books can make the day more inclusive and meaningful. These activities, ranging from treasure hunts to book cafes, encourage deeper engagement with stories, while keeping things fun and affordable. By focusing on creativity and connection rather than costumes, every child gets a chance to experience the magic of reading in their own way. If you'd like to get in touch, use the hashtag SRLpodcast on Twitter or drop us a line using the contact form or messaging button on our website schoolreadinglist.co.uk. And all the books lived happily ever after. The end.